So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to tie two, maybe three flies, but we're going to tie Hexagenia patterns. The local Hexagenia pattern. If you can see that right there. This is the done. And I'm going to tie this pattern up. And you'll see what it is, how you tie it. We're going to use 2X long hook, dry fly hook, Daiichi 1112s, I guess they are. And on the done, which is a little bit bigger in the spinner, we're going to use a Mustad size 8, 9431. That's the 2X long. For all these, we're going to use between 2X long hooks, okay? Most of my flies, probably 80% of flies I fish I tie with CDC. All right, I'm just CDC guy, and because it's fun to work with and it's pretty neat stuff. You can do everything with it. And we're going to go back, and the first thing we're going to put on there are tails. I'm going to use pheasant. I don't have this isn't a good center tail, but it'll work. Black will work too, okay? Or you could take this and hit it with a magic marker. Well, we're using CDC, this is from the shop here. It comes out of Wapsie. This is pretty good, some pretty good stuff. Trout Hunter probably makes the best. And you can play with these feathers a lot, all right? So I just want to put a little bit on there. A little bit on there to get a bump. You're going to go up there. Really squeeze. It might be too much for this bump. And we'll see. Okay? I'm going to really squeeze. Now, I'm going to spin it. All right? I don't know whether you can see this with the camera, but you see how much movement I got with that thread? Stretch I got with that thread? When I stretch that and let it back in, it's catching in the thread. So it don't come off the thread. That's why you want a stretchy thread rather than a tight one. All right. So anyway, so we'll put this on here. It's going to be a hair big. Yeah, it's not too bad. We just want a little bit. Now with CDC and with this, you want it a little bit scraggly. All right? Because the CDC will move in the water. Okay? And that's what you want. You're going to take 3 and square them off, get them out. I'm going to measure that, and their tails are really long. When you see them dancing, they got a tail that sticks out. Okay? So we're going to make it just a hair longer than the shank of the hook. All right? And I'm just going to make one nice little loose, two little loose turns. And I'm going to position that. Now I can tighten down. That'll work. Okay. Now I'm going to, if this was a good tail, I'd go to the other side because they have a bend in them. Okay. And so each side's different. But like I said, I didn't bring a good tail. And I have a lot of good tails, so I don't know why I didn't go back over. Sorry about that. So I'm going to turn that and see if I can get it to point out. Measure it up with that one. A nice loose turn so I can then straighten it out. I put 3 on each side. Now what I'm still going to do, you can get by with 2. If you get 4, you're going to start getting a fanning. And that, because what we're going to do is build that tail. With these feathers, with these barbules on here, they'll have a tendency to split. Okay? So I'm going to take some hard as nails. You could take any standard head cement, I would think. Just run your fingers through there. And they're pretty much together except that one there. And they'll come apart probably. when you catch 3 or 4 fish, but it's okay. We'll work with that. Okay. So there's the tails. Now we're going to go to the abdomen, and here's where it gets a little tricky. I'm going to take very thin. Not going to work. So you can see that. All right. And we're going to put that, we're going to spread that out, take our time. Open a spot right down to the stem. Get it just, I'm not in any hurry. See? See how that's right in the middle now? Okay? Work at trying to get that there. Right there. So I'm going to bend that back there. Now we come to our CDC body. And this is the early evening, so we're going to have this one just a little bit lighter. You're going to look for a longer one. Can you see that? So we're going to do what you call a slip tie. Going to just tie it in there, back close to the root. Now, 2 light turns, we're going to pull it back. You see how the CDC's holding in? Okay? Keeps coming back. I'm going to get back there to where I'm right about there and bind that down. Now the wing on this is going to be a feather hackle. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to wrap that around. Take that over flat. Okay? Bind that feather down. All right. That's flat. Now I got to start building up. So now I'm going to spin it. Can you see that building again now? Getting a little bit bigger. Building that abdomen up. Trapping those fibers. We'll go back down there to where we want to get it coming up. We're going to do the same slip tie. Real nice and loose. Come back. Bind it down. I'm going to start spinning that right away. Build that up a little. There we go. Starting to build up. Sometimes you can do this with two feathers. Sometimes it's going to take 3. Depend on this length. If this was a size 10, 2x long, I'd probably get by with just the 2. Okay, it'd be filled in. But now when CDC comes in all sizes, I just want a wee little bit. I'm not close enough. All right. Tails in. Tails are in. This feather sticking out there is in there as an extension of the abdomen. Just when it sits on the water, it just looks little bit longer. All right. Now you're going to bring that up through. Wind her down. Get some of those barbs coming out. That's it. 3, 4, 5 will be enough. Catch it. Now catch it. Let all that barb stick out. Now comes the fun part. This is a saltwater hackle for dry flies. Look at the size of the barbules. You need those in order to get a wing big like that. You have to look for these. They're hard to get. They're just coming on the market again. I got these 5 or 6 years ago, and then I couldn't find them. And I see that Fly Tire magazine just came out. They said that they're going to have Wapsie and Hairline are going to start getting whiting saltwaters. Believe me, it's worth it. Depending on what you're imitating or whatever. The spinners on the Hexagenias are much more colorful than the Duns, okay? Here's what I found. Depending on the water, where you are, there's a slight difference in coloration of the body of the fly. If you go and fish green drakes on Penn's Creek, they're a different color than the green drakes on Yellow Creek or Potter County or All Sable River, okay? So I think it has to do with the chemical makeup of the water. That's what I think. But all right, so we're going to strip that back down there, and we're going to start it right there, and come up, boom, 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 boom.
What color did you put in now?
Right there, that's olive.
Okay.
Now we're going with a yellow dyed grizzly. Okay? I like to use just a regular grizzly, but I don't have any anymore that are big enough. Because I use these big things. This is how I tie my drakes too, my green drakes, in a style similar to this. And what I'm going to do on this 8, go back here, okay? And then I'm going to get another one. I'm going to see if I can get a big brown one. I don't know whether I can. Brown. Yeah, there's one close enough. You see that? Okay. Now we can tie that one in. Yeah, we're coming down. All right, pull these out of the way.
Which one are you wrapping first?
I'm wrapping the back up through.
That's
The first one in. The first one in.
The first olive one that you tie on?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm waving it back and forth. Now I'm going to come in between that one and that one. And then I'm going to come up through. I'm going to leave some space there. That one doesn't have to be quite as tight. Push it back a little bit. All right. Can you see the variation in the color coming out? Now, always cut the bottom off, okay? Trim the bottom. I want the float low. All right? Now, if you'd want, now see, now that's going to be an upright wing, all right? Now, if you want, and you want to have a bigger head,
More CDC?
more CDC. And you could change colors and get a lighter head if you wanted a lighter head. And I want that on there scraggly, okay? Because now it shows me some feet, some legs, okay?
Do you see an advantage or disadvantage for doing that, Tom?
I think that the more movement that you can have on the fly, the better the fly is. And the more fish you're going to catch. So, I think there's an advantage to doing that. And what you're going to catch. I may be wrong. That's just my theory.